This is the Aergrind made by Nock. And this is also the Aergrind made by Nock. So this is a fun little video that I always love doing these kind of things. And today I'm going to be comparing the old Aergrind made by Nock versus the newer one. So this one I believe came from 2018. I had one from 2000. This one came out in 2019. I think I had one from 2018, and this one is from 2022. So I'm going to go through a couple of things that Nock has changed on the Aergrind. First off, I want to start by originally the lid on this was plastic, and they kind of went away with that and changed it. The plastic wasn't bad, but they definitely made it a little bit more premium on it. So on the Aergrind, the older version, we have one that has little dots indicating the grind size of it. And then on the other one, we have lines indicating it. So you can see that right there on those. And overall, it works pretty well. I do like how they made a nice little metal ring on the top of the newer version of it. It just makes it look a little bit more quality on there. The next thing that we're going to hit is they changed the color of the bands. You can now have it in orange or pink versus the black. I personally like the black better on the older version. Next, we have the handles. The handles are very similar. If you had the old handle, originally it did say Nock on the top of it, so that was a nice change. And the cutouts are pretty much the same. The tops of it are pretty much the same. The lengths are identical. Very, very similar between these two grinders. The one difference, though, is the handle itself. The handle on the old one was plastic, and the handle on the new one is wood. And surprisingly, I do like the handle on the old one better because it spins better on the old one versus the new one does not spin very well at all, which kind of makes it a problem while grinding to really have that consistency of it. The next thing on there is there's a noticeable height difference. It's about an inch taller for the Aergrind 2022 versus the new one versus the old one. So I'm assuming that gives you a little bit more room in the hopper, so you can put some more beans on the top part. Apparently maybe some people complained about that, so you can maybe put 5-ish grams more, 10 grams more, somewhere in there, more in the new Aergrind versus the old one, at a sacrifice of the fact that it is taller. Both of these fit in the AeroPress, which is a huge selling point for these. And here are some of my favorite changes that they made. All the top ones were minor, but inside on the old one, there's a different type of burr set on it. There's a little coffee grounds in there. The burr set's the same, but the burr set has been coated on the new one. So it just gives it a little bit better lasting life on the old one versus the new one, which is great. And sorry, the new one versus the old one has a little bit longer lasting life. And here's my favorite part. On my first Aergrind, I had a problem where I would knock this bottom part on the counter in order to loosen up the grinds to make it fit in the portafilter a little bit better. Eventually, this bottom piece came off, this little piece of metal on the bottom. It came completely off, and coffee grounds fell over everything, and I had to tape it on with electrical tape to keep it on there when I knocked it on there. The pro side to that electrical tape is it did make it easy to knock it on a countertop where you're not getting the metal on metal contact. The new Aergrind switched it up, and they changed that bottom place up, so I have a strong feeling that there's less of a problem that's going to happen in the future of it. And lastly, they changed one of the biggest features that I think makes it worth it to almost upgrade to the future, to the newer one, and that is they took out the O-ring. The O-ring was sitting on the inside of it here, which forced on this cup, which means pulling it off was a little bit more work, but it also means the O-ring wore out on mine, causing the coffee grounds to constantly fall off, meaning I'd have to hold it with my pinky or replace the O-ring. They switched it, and this is the most satisfying threading I've ever had on a grinder or a coffee product. It just seems so small, so forceful, and so well that it holds it together by simply threading it onto the bottom, making it not fall off. So this is the differences between the old Nock and the old Nock Aergrind versus the new Nock Aergrind, and I'm quite happy at the direction that Nock is going, and it's great to see companies make these small minor improvements over the years to make customer use better over time. So I just want to thank Prima for sending me this Aergrind in exchange for a review. I have it on loan for a month. And I want to thank my friend Riley for letting me borrow his Aergrind because I sold mine a few years back to do this comparison. If you're looking at purchasing a grinder and you're looking at for the smallest, super compact, really good grinder, I would look no further than the Aergrind. You can find it at Prima Coffee. If you choose to purchase it there, I'll make a slight commission at no extra charge to you that goes back into YouTube. They did not sponsor it. They did not see this. They just simply put it on loan for me to review. And that's kind of what I came across with. And lastly, if you could please like and subscribe if you like to see this content, that really helps me out as a YouTuber. Thank you so much for watching.